Hi guys, welcome to my watercolour YouTube channel. I'm Karen Rice, and just to say happy Easter to everyone. I'm surrounded by some daffodils. My husband took this photograph just a short while ago and it just shows all the different variety of daffodils. I love this photograph and I've actually put it on to pexels.com, so if you want access to this photograph to use for your painting, you are free to do so, and I will put a link for the photograph in the description below. I thought I would show you a little bit of my process, talk a little bit of how I use photographs in watercolour painting, but also how to sketch, different types of sketching and decision making about colour mixing, which a lot of you have asked me about. So I really hope you find this tutorial helpful. So let's get started. For a full list of all the materials I'll be using in this demonstration, please see the description below. So I have actually drawn the left-hand little sketch with a waterproof drawing pen, and now I'm just painting very loosely some cadmium yellow pale, wet on dry, onto the surface here. The sketchbook's actually a watercolour paper sketchbook. It's about 200 grams, so it's a little bit thinner than the paper I normally use, but because it's a small scale, it's fine. I'm using my size 6 brush. This is the only brush that I'm going to use. It's just a very loose sketch here. I've always encouraged my students to work in pen and wash because it stops them fiddling and they just put down their sort of first ideas. And in this instance here, I've kept the daffodils in the top left-hand corner quite loose, almost not there, just a few dots, and just put the details really in the foreground and to the right and left of the centre there. And I haven't actually worked out my star of the show as yet. And the star of the show I refer to is the focal point. So I'm still sort of considering where to put that. But I just want to get the sort of overall shape here. And as you can see, I've really minimised the detail from the photograph. I've not painted every daffodil or blade of grass, but I'm sort of putting in the different varieties there. I'm using Indian yellow here as well, working wet on dry with lots of water, using cadmium yellow pale, and just literally not actually painting with inside the lines, but just painting on very loosely. So if it goes over the edge or stays within the marks that I've made, it doesn't matter. It's lovely and loose. And because it's a waterproof drawing pen, it's not going to bleed. So it's going to work really nicely for this painting. And I'm keeping the colour. I've decided to really minimize the colors that I'm using, so I'm sticking to a warm and a cooler yellow. That's the cadmium yellow pale and the Indian yellow, but you could use lemon yellow and cadmium yellow deep, and if you don't have cadmium yellow deep, you can add a pinch of red to the color, and I will put some color alternatives in the description below. So that's my warm and cool yellow. I'll also use some raw sienna, and that's a warmer, earthier brown. But if you don't have that, you could use quinacridone gold, which I love. I've added a touch of red here just to paint some of those centres a little bit stronger, to really pop them out, especially when they've got the pale, sort of almost white petals on those daffodils there. I'm also going to use a warm and a cool blue. So it's a Prussian blue and ultramarine is a warm blue. And it will give me, the cool blue gives you some really bright greens, and the warmer blue gives you sort of more sludgy greens. That's why I quite like it. So it gives you lots of variety, and it's a good time as well when you're using your sketchbooks like this and you're practicing the photograph that you're going to be painting. It's a good idea to be practicing the colour mixes. So I've got a sludgy green there, that's with the ultramarine, and a bit of the orange actually, but also the cadmium yellow pale with a little bit of the Prussian blue. As you can see, there gives you a much brighter, cooler green, and I'm painting these leaves in the foreground here. Just keeping everything simple. I'm spattering the top part of the painting here because this is where you've got your dark against light. That's what I love about this photograph, was bringing out those daffodils by the trees behind, those cool dark trees, and I'm just playing around with that idea here, still using my size 6 brush, still working on that first stage. So if you're a beginner out there and you want a way of how to start in watercolor painting, sketchbooks are a brilliant idea because you can just have a little play and you can get to know what watercolor does by just practicing. So I'm actually mixed up some creamier, darker paint here, and I'm painting it damp into wet, and that's the paint is creamier and not as wet as the surface, and it doesn't run as much, it doesn't blend as much. And what I'm doing now is just painting a few dark stems and leaves and grasses really around the daffodils to bring them out, using that sort of mid-green, the Prussian blue with the cadmium yellow pale, just working my way, sort of building up as I do in watercolour painting, working light to dark. So I'm going to leave that there. I've even sprinkled a bit of salt, but I may have left it too late on the left hand side there. So I'm working my way on the right hand side. In this instance, I've actually put some of my framing tape, which is like masking tape and not gum tape that you use for stretching your watercolor paintings or paper, because you can remove framing tape. It's not easy to remove gum tape. You have to trim it away. So I'm still using the size 6 brush. I'm using some of this cadmium yellow pale, and because I've already had a practice with the pen and wash, which I absolutely love, sort of just keeping me loose with pen and wash, I've drawn this little sketch with an HB pencil, and I've added some more details and also kind of concentrating on some stars of the show, potential stars of the show. Some of them might have to sort of be supporting cast members, but I'm just sort of sticking to the same colours that I used before, the cadmium yellow pale and the Indian yellow, which is that really dark sort of yellow colour. It's lovely, it's really warm, it's so gorgeous, and I'm just softening some of the centres here. So I'm mixing up again a mid-green here, just painting it in the foreground, wet on dry with my size 6 brush, and really sort of being quite expressive with the marks that I'm making. So I'm already trying to tell a little story now using these photographs. So I've got my little foreground daffodils here and some to balance them on the right hand side, and I've got some sort of above on the left that are much smaller, and that creates depth and distance as well. And I'm going to use those dark trees, which I loved about the photograph in the first place, as a sort of a compositional tool to kind of frame everything and to almost be like the negative dark space to bring out those background daffodils without giving them too much detail, but they'll add to the light. And I'm using negative space as well now in the foreground area to paint around some of these stars of the show, the focal point flowers, and using ultramarine with some yellow, painting around them and then softening with my damp brush just to kind of, they pop out from the background because it's dark against light, and it's a really good compositional tool to use here. And you can see already there's a nice little balance of flowers going on now. I'm getting a feel for it, and thinking along now to the main painting that I'll be painting for the Patreon membership. I will be using masking fluid, I think, to really sort of mask out the distant flowers and pick some stars of the show. So I'm actually going to move, I've sort of followed the photograph a little, but I'm going to maneuver them a little bit. And I think that will really add to your leading your eye through the painting to tell a story. So the important thing again with photographs is don't paint all of the details. You just have to sort of, you know, accent details here and there, and obviously even though you can see all that detail in the distance, all those, you know, the trees and everything like that, try to minimize it. The more attention to detail you give something in the distance, the flatter your painting, because it brings everything forward. So you could think in simple terms: background, middle ground, foreground, focal point, details, darks, and make sure you've got your lights. And by having that list of things to do, especially in landscape painting with flowers, you can sort of really just follow these rules. So
I wouldn't like to call them rules as such, but a guideline of what to do. So I always start off with very thin washes and work light to dark. So I usually sort of do my sky first, and then the sort of background washes and thin underpainting in the middle ground and the foreground. Then I build up with my mid-tones and then the darks and the details, and bringing out that star of the show. And it's pretty much what I'm doing here is I'm using a sort of mid to dark tone to really bring out now these sort of middle ground daffodils, but they are going to be the stars of my show. The two on the bottom left now are going to be supporting cast. Okay, you know what? I've obviously wanted to direct movies, or be a theatre director or somebody, because I'm always talking about that. But I've just used that analogy just to kind of really paint you that picture, pardon the pun, to show you how to approach a painting. I often, in the past with my students, talk about being a builder, an architect, and how you would build a house, working from the plans, which we're doing now, we're planning, and, planning your colours as well, and the paper you're going to use, and the techniques. All of that's almost like a recipe as well. So however best to approach it for you, even if it's just in this painting style, doing the sketching, planning your colours, your composition, that's the important thing. The important thing also is for you to be comfortable and feel confident when you approach a painting. But I was taught when I was at university that the danger of using a photograph is to paint all of the detail, to actually copy the photograph exactly is where it's problematic, because your photograph has depth, but your painting looks flat. So we've got all these artistic tools to help us to create depth in our painting, and especially with watercolour, it's soft pale washes in the distance and hard edges and more details and darks in the foreground, and larger marks as well, and more textures. So we've got all these things that we can use, all these tools. So it's wonderful, I think. So using a sketchbook can really, as I said earlier, can really build that confidence. And I hope by me showing you this here about how I approach it and how I've taught students for years, it gives you that, that how my mind is thinking almost, where I'm heading for. So when I actually work on a bigger scale, I can really enjoy the watercolour painting and really show off the watercolour itself, but I've got this plan in mind, and it stops you from fiddling as well. So I hope you're finding this useful. Spilling all the beans here, as it were. But as you can see, I'm really focusing on this it's quite central, but to the right of this painting here, with this little cluster of daffodils. But I think when I come to my main larger painting, I think what I will do is I will have three, one being the star, with the other two being quite close supporting cast, and then the rest being supporting cast stroke extras, and then little tiny extras, if that makes any sense. So I'm just painting in the centres now, just to finish off my painting. I don't want to do too much fiddling to this and overwork such a tiny little painting. It can easily happen. So to stop me from doing that, as usual, is to give my painting good splatter with some yellows and some greens. And I'm also painting just yellow again, just in this area, which isn't in the photograph. I've decided to paint more yellow daffodils just to kind of balance that composition, rather than having so much green, and yellow is such a beautiful colour. I'm removing the framing tape now to reveal a really nice border, and I think I'll leave my painting there for now. So here are the two finished sketches. As you can see, with the pen and wash, I really minimalised everything there. I didn't go into too much detail. That's what I quite like about that. It's just a way of opening up and having a go. And the little sketch to the right was a touch more detail, maybe a little bit too much actually, but that's quite good, because it's a little lesson learnt for when I go in and approach the larger piece.
I really hope you found this tutorial helpful, just to get you started with these preparatory sketches and to get you warmed up so you're not so fearful when you actually start painting in watercolour. You've got a kind of idea. I like working in pen and wash because it loosens me up and just gets me going, and sort of gets in contact with the artist within, if that makes any sense. And the little pencil drawing was a little bit more for the actual painting itself. It was just to loosen me up and to keep things simple, especially on a small scale. But it's a great idea to use sketchbooks just to keep you painting, especially if you don't have time or you're a little bit scared and you don't want to spoil your watercolor painting. I will be painting a much more in-depth tutorial based on this photograph, kind of using my preparatory sketches. And this will be available on my Patreon membership tomorrow. Just click the website address just below this video, because it will take you to my new website where it has lots of information about the Patreon membership, the videos available, and it will give you an idea of what you're getting. And if you have any questions about the membership, please put them in the comment section below, and I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. If you'd like to see more tutorials like this as well, don't forget, if you haven't already, to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you will get updates of my latest videos. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of your support. Have a happy Easter, happy painting. Bye for now.